I did a whole other video and I shot for like 4 hours. And I went to the edit and it turned out to just be the ramblings of a madman. So the content of this video has changed. I'm going to do a YouTube comment Q&A today. This is going to be quick, down, and dirty so that I have an upload. So we're going to head on into YouTube Studio. 15 questions out and then that'll be our video. How does that sound to y'all? Sounds good to me. So this is not from one video in particular. I'm just in the comments section and we're just going to run down the list here. ASAP Ant. Any way to stop my screen from sticking to the t-shirt or when I lift the screen? Surprisingly enough, and I'm going to credit Jason LeBlue with this, when that would happen to me, I used to think, oh gosh, I must not be curing the ink well enough on the shirt, so I would raise the temp or I would increase the flash times. As it turns out, when the ink is sticking to the bottom of the screen, you are actually flashing for too long or you're over flashing. So my recommendation is to take your flashes all the way back, almost to zero, both in heat and time, and then slowly work up until it just stops sticking. So typically when it's sticking to the t-shirt, you're actually over flashing, not under flashing. All right, the next question is from Freedom Lifestyle. Thank you for the question. Why are you dropping water-based ink for Plastisol only? Solely for simplicity's sake. I still love water-based ink. We're just going to provide a good service locally, and we're not going to do any kind of specialized printing or anything like that. We're just kind of taking it back to basics so that we can be really good at the basics of this industry. Anyway, thank you for the question, Freedom Lifestyle. There's your answer. Brad says, nice camera work there, Cam. Thank you. I have my own LLC. I need a business loan. Good luck. Beth Lundquist. I love it. I just got a printer to do sublimation. This is so sweet. Can I come over? LOL. No. Question is from Fawcett Tattoos. I'm interested in doing a clothing brand versus starting a print shop for other people. I want to do everything for the brand myself, including the printing. I already have everything, including the business license, ready to go, but I just lack the supplies, equipment, and knowledge on the ink. There's a mixed reviews on water-based versus Plastisol, and I would like to know which is better for beginners doing single colors. Also, which fabrics do you suggest? Are 50-50 cotton polyester blends okay for sweatshirts and hoodies, or should I spring for 100% cotton? For the t-shirts, I'm sticking with 100% cotton, but I have tried to get my garments printed in the past, and all local printers say they won't work with blends. They also keep trying to push me to DTG, but I think old school screen printed looks and feels better. There's a lot to unpack there. First off, they're trying to push you to DTG because you're ordering too little, more than likely. Your numbers aren't stacking up to what they find it to be worth to even taking the job. So they're just trying to tell you, dude, go to DTG, get a few of them printed, and off. That's what they're trying to do. Water-based versus Plastisol, which one is better for a beginner doing single colors? Plastisol all day long. Surprisingly enough, a lot of people learn screen printing with water-based, and that's good, that's awesome. But in my opinion, picking up water-based, so many more things go wrong during the process that it makes water-based printing seem more troublesome. On the flip side, water-based printing from home is easier because it doesn't require solvents for cleanup. So after you've inked the screen, you can easily just take it out and wash it out. You know, it's acrylic-based ink, so it's easier to clean up. So in some cases, it's easier from a home-based perspective. Long term, it's easier to print with Plastisol in production, but you know, it's harder to clean it. I'm changing my mind here. Even as I'm talking, I feel like from a home-based perspective, if you're only going to do 1 or 2 shirts anyway, water-based is not a bad way to go in that case. Water-based is mostly complicated when you're trying to do production with it, because that's when it starts seizing in the streams. But if you're just doing 3 or 4, it's easier to clean up. You can print flash print it right there. Yeah, man, actually, maybe water-based ain't such a bad way for home-based printing. Buy a quart of white, do the thing, and let me know in the comments how it goes for you. That's the better thing, I think. As far as whether you want to go 100% cotton or 50-50, 50-50s are harder to print, especially if you don't have control of your heat and your temperatures, because you're going to have bleeding, especially with dark colors, especially when your garment is a dark color, like a black or a red, and you're using white ink because you're going to get bleeding. most 50/50s. In most cases, when you're printing on 50/50s, you need to either use a polyester ink or you need to use a bleed blocker under your underbase. There's a lot of things you have to do to print on polyester, so it is a lot more complicated. Ergo, in most cases, if you're doing the printing yourself, you just want to go with 100% cotton because it's actually easier to print on. It's the main reason why you would do it that way. So not only are you springing for cotton, you're actually making your life easier by going with cotton. In the beginning, I would avoid 50/50s at all costs. Okay, so this is in regards to a video I did, which has just been blowing up a little unexpectedly, which is it's just in regards to that heat transfer vinyl, or the heat transfer laser printer thing, and everything that's associated with that. So the question here is from Christy Cager. There's a bunch of questions on it, and it's all the same question. So let's just tackle the first one. Does it feel like a screen printed shirt or a vinyl decorated shirt? It feels closer to what heat pressed or heat transfer vinyl feels like. It actually feels very similar to that. So it feels nothing like screen printing, and it holds up about as well to washing as heat transfer vinyl does, in my opinion. The adhesion lasts about the same amount of time, and so on and so forth. So I actually have the shirt. We printed this big. I printed this big graphic for Jen, and we put it through like I think about 30 washes now, and the print is still holding up. So I never did the follow-up video to just follow up on that, and I'll do that. I'll get that done now that I'm uploading again. I'll get that done next week. But I want to be very clear when it comes to these laser printers. They are a very specific use case. They are for a very specific use case, and that use case is single-use event type of shirts. I would never use these heat transfer laser printers of any kind from any brand to, like, let's say do a print for a clothing brand that's trying to be retail quality. I would never use it for that. Nor would I probably use direct-to-garment for that either. So you have to understand the use case of this. The beauty of that laser printer is that you can very quickly take a customer's image and put it on a dang shirt with very little effort. And as long as you manage that customer's expectation by saying, okay, yeah, we can absolutely do that. It's going to cost $20. This is what you can expect. This is how many washes you can expect. Would you still like to get it? And if they say yes, you wash your hands of it. You no longer care about the reliability. It is not for clothing brands. It's not for clothing brands, period. You know, I got the printer in, I did the video. It got way more traction than I expected it to. And then I started going through some things health-wise here at the shop, and YouTube kind of went on the back burner, and I just haven't picked it back up, but now I'm ready to pick it back up, so we'll do a follow-up video on that. How does the printer you use have pigment inks? I don't know. Okay, so this is I did a video a while ago about woven labels and how to sew them onto t-shirts just with a regular sewing machine, and they're asking how long it would do to do 100 tags, seeing if it's feasible in-house. It's feasible. With hem tags, what we actually found is, and I don't think I included this in that video so long ago. Maybe I showed it. I can't remember. But I actually use, you know, this is the only time I use spray adhesive. But we'll lay out all of the things. We'll spray the shirt palette with adhesive, and then we'll lay the woven labels out flat, and then we'll spray on top of them. That way you can sandwich them on the hem or on the sleeve, and they'll stick so that you can sew them easily. And it works really well. And you can easily, I think when you start to get the hang of it, let me think about this. Mississippi. I don't know, just say 1 a minute. So you can do 60 an hour. Say you can do about 60 of them an hour. So you'll get it done pretty quickly in a couple of hours. A lot of the times with those little things, what I have found is that we're not really doing it to make money. We're just it's just adding perceived value to the client's order, and you do make money on it, but it's not like a huge killing, right? But pretty soon, and you're just flying through it. You know, this is in regards to that old blue Chinese flash from Legacy 404. Hey Cam, really enjoy your videos, brother. My question is, after 3 years, how's the flash dryer doing? Well, as soon as I bought that cheap Chinese blue flash, I ended up getting the Anatol flash, and I haven't used the blue flash since. However, you know, it would overheat. We would run the little flash, excuse me, everything would be going good, it would work great, and then it would just shut down, and you would have to let it set until it cooled off, and then you could run it again. My understanding is that the little motion sensor that's inside the blue part of the casing needs to be taken out. You need to mount it externally, and apparently all those things go away. I never did it to the thing because I never needed to, but it's actually still sitting over there. If anybody's in Arizona and they want that flash, they want to take it and mess with it, you can literally come pick it up from me here. I'll give it to you. It's yours. So just come by if you want it. This is one of the main reasons I hate doing product reviews, dude. You get so much like, I mean, it's understandable. I don't know. Everyone's going to have a bad experience with any product you sell. But when people have bad experience with expensive products, they look for outlets to, like, you know, vent their frustration. And a lot of the times, if you have a popular video about a product, they're gonna go there and they're gonna vent their frustration. So it's kind of like, makes you not want to do them. This is a good one. Okay, and I don't have an answer to this either, but I would love anybody's input on this because this happens to us too. From Brian Fox, what up, Cam? I know this vid is from a while ago. When I burn my screen, I end up with a line in my screen from the edge of the film transparency. It's very fine, and if you're not careful, the right amount of ink can squish through it and go onto the shirt. So other than taping it up, which is what we do as well, is there any way to avoid this when burning the screen? Thank you. I don't know. It's one of those little things where it's like I've never heard anyone else bring it up. We see it happen all the time on our screens. It's less likely to happen when you have a slightly thicker coated screen, but when you just do a 1-in-1 is when you seem to see it the most often. I have no clue, man. I don't think you can fix it. I don't know. I would love to know anybody else who is listening to this, if you found a way to fix it or if you found the cause. It's not a huge deal. We just, by default, we know to tape down both sides near the transparency. It's what we've always done. But I'd love to know if anyone else has figured out how to fix it. This is from Dolores Galvan. Thank you. I want to start making prints at home. And this is perfect. This is in regards to that super cheap exposure unit I did with the suitcase and shit for free. And they're asking, what's the best emulsion to use for exposing with the sun? In my opinion, just any of the hybrid emulsions, and we're using Murakami T9. I think that's the best damn emulsion, period. But it is more expensive. But that's just all we use. I don't buy anything else at this point. It's just so simple, and it works like a charm. I am 2 years too late. Oh well, I'm getting into screen printing business. Anything you wish you would have done different? This is a comment on a very old video that they just watched 3 weeks ago. So many things I wish I would have done different. The biggest thing that I wish I had done different as a screen printer my first year is I was an owner-operator my first year and even going into my second year before I hired my first employee. Looking back, what I should have done is instead of hiring my first employee, I should have financed a small, let's just say a 6-color automatic press and brought it in and put it right where that manual screen printing press is. That is what I should have done with no questions asked. So that's the first thing that without a shadow of a doubt, that's what I would have done differently is I would have automated before hiring my first person. Another thing I would have done, I would focus almost exclusively on getting my customer and job management system in place as early as possible. Because I think back to all of the stress that I had in the early days. And I don't care. You don't need to go with my shop management software. There's 1,000 systems out there. I'll shout them. I'll shout all the ones I know out. Starting with mine, the Print Life software, which is in its infancy. It's very new, but it's inexpensive. You have got Printavo, which is slowly becoming the industry's main one. You have Inksoft. You have Deco Network, YoPrint. And then you can also use systems like Monday or Trello. There's a ton of systems out there. There's a solution for everybody. But without a shadow of a doubt, try all of them and see which one suits you best. But every system you use, you're going to need to give it some time. put in a little bit of effort with it, about a month, 30 days, and use it. Run it through, try to understand what it is. You can't learn or understand any system, whether it's mine, Printavo, Inksoft, Deco, YoPrint. You can't learn any of them in a week. If you're only going to give it a week, don't even try, because you're wasting your time. Automate before you hire an employee. Get a shop, get a management system in place before you even open your doors. This is from Rosalind Chan. This is for like 4 weeks ago. How many items can you usually make with a quart of ink? There's a lot of variables in that. You know, when it comes to like ink and all of this, you got the surface area, right? If it's a small graphic or a big graphic, all these things. If you're doing a print, flash print, there's a lot of things. I think on average though, a quart, like you're probably somewhere between, I guess I want to say maybe 150 and 350 shirts, like a quart of, let's just say white ink, only talking about white ink on, and just one hit. Yeah, I would say if it's like a single hit, I'd say about 300 shirts on average. I'm just guessing this, man. I've never actually done a formula to really hit it. But if you're doing like a print flash print, I think about 150 shirts is about what you can get for a quart of ink. I feel a little shaky committing to that, but that seems about right. I'm actually thinking about our live screen printing thing right now and trying to remember how many quarts we would take. And I think we've on average, Jesse and I figured out, we've kind of averaged about 200 shirts is really where we feel confident. Like for every 200 shirts, we'll take a quart of ink. For every 200 shirts we expect to do, something like that. So that's pretty close. Okay, that's it. Man, I tried really hard to do an in-depth video, but it was a shit show. So we'll see you guys mañana, okay? Take care.